Okay, live here from the barn. We'll show you the barn in a second, but this is This Week in Eagles Hoops. I'm Chad Cook. This is Will Avery. We are the coaches of the GAIS Eagles homeschool basketball team here in Augusta, Georgia. Let's go ahead and show you Ben. Ben is producing this fine piece of video, and let's. We're real excited, Will, to start the season, basically. We're going to Missouri next week for the tip-off tournament, NCHBC tip-off tournament. For the past two seasons, the Eagles have gone to Missouri for the national tournament. Now we're going at the beginning of the year for the tip-off tournament. Are you excited about starting the regular season?
I am excited. My kids have been working really hard, and they're anxious. They're ready to go. They're ready to put on those GAIS uniforms and compete against somebody.
Yes, definitely. Now, let's show that first thing, the tip-off facts. Will, this place is pretty special. These tournaments that they have in Missouri. But let's go back. Let's keep it right there for a second, Ben. Will, in the end of October, what high school tournament do you know of that will have 30 teams from 11 different states, 15 teams from the national that made the Sweet 16 in the year before, 7 teams from the top 9. That's boys and girls combined. 3 teams from the Final Four and the national champ, all in one place at the end of October.
Honestly, the closest thing I can think of is the second round of the NCAA tournament.
Right.
We have teams, from this variety, this many states.
Yeah. Well, bring it back to the studio, and that's one of the themes I think as we go through this that I'll try to communicate to the Eagles watchers and supporters here. This Missouri thing that we do is, I've always said it's much more interesting and exciting than any state tournament, whether it be GHSA, GISA, South Carolina High School League, South Carolina Independent School Association. No offense to those groups. I highly respect all of those. But there's just something different about the national nature of this thing, and we'll try to give everybody a feel for that as we go through the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start with the next slide, and so. Actually, come back for a second. I want to set this up a little better. I meant to have a slide in here that said that this Missouri thing is all about, in my opinion, great talent, great atmosphere, and great passion. And so the talent is the first thing. You've heard me talk about. Here's a visual of some of the people and the players that we've seen in Missouri the last couple of years. So go ahead and go to that Justin Jackson. This is a guy who you know about, Will, one of the top 8 players in the nation. He'll be playing as a UNC Tar Heel, so I know you don't like him already. And but this is Justin Jackson, and he is dynamite, 6'8" guard. Basically has point guard skills, and you see him here. Have you ever seen him play in person? I know you've seen video and stuff.
Never, but as good as he is, the only mistake I've seen him make was his college decision.
Yes, yes, no doubt.
But he's very skilled from what you showed me. I mean, one of the things that sticks out right away is usually when you hear about a kid top 10 in the country is 6'8", you just think about this great athlete.
Yeah,
he's not that. This kid really can play. He has a very unique skill set for his size and can do many things on the floor. And he's going to be a really good player at North Carolina.
Yeah, anytime you're going to be a North Carolina Tar Heel, Duke Blue Devil, or Kentucky Wildcat, you're in a special class all by yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now let's go to the next. Speaking of special class all by yourself, Mariah Jefferson, 2 years ago, we got a look at her. She went on to be by the way, Justin Jackson will be a McDonald's All-American. Mariah Jefferson, go ahead and click on her. Yeah, go ahead and put that on the screen there. She's at UConn now, point guard, and you'll see her with a step-back three-pointer here. She was a McDonald's All-American, played for the Thesa Riders out of Texas, and you see a little step-back three from one of our ladies.
That's
nice. Not too bad. But this, what you'll see in a second, was extra fun, and maybe Ben could slow this down. Actually, the instant replay.
Wow,
will
she tried to kick the ball. She had no chance.
Exactly. Let's watch that. You don't have to slow it down, Ben. Watch this. So gotta love that, right? Mariah Jefferson, Bon. She goes by the name Bon, at least on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is that the kids do.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's good. Okay, so let's go on to Chicken Knowles now. Now, Chicken Knowles, 2 years ago, we ran into him, top 100 Great nickname, right?
Great nickname.
Right. Let's pull up. Okay, here he comes. Top 100 in the class of 2012. He's a Houston Cougar now. He'll be playing as a freshman this season. And, he's long and athletic. And, you don't see that every day.
Nah, not at all. Chicken is a little extra spicy from the highlight. He had some stuff. That was nice. Nice putback.
Yeah, and he and Justin Jackson played on the same team.
Wow.
So that was obviously the team that won 2 years ago. And in a second here, we'll get to the team that won last year. Let's move on to Alonzo Trier. Will, you've probably heard me talk about him. He beat our Eagles last year with 51 points in the Elite Eight. And you'll see him here, 6'4", top 35 in the class of 2015. Just a dynamite player.
Yeah, he can really put it in the bucket. As you told me that he led the EYBL in scoring or was at the top of the list.
Exactly.
And that's pretty heavy competition. So that tells you how good he really is.
Yeah, and he has transferred to a program you probably know well, Montrose Christian. I think that's where Durant played.
Durant,
right?
exactly, yeah.
And so he's gone now, but he, in 2 years of homeschool basketball, or maybe 3 years, racked up 2,000 career points. So he really poured it in. Didn't just get 51 on my Eagles. He got 51 plus on quite a few. And now let's go to Chauncey Collins. You'll see him he's a defending national champion, part of the OKC Storm. And this guy gets up with the best of them, about 5'8", 5'9". I'm sure he's listed at 6'1" in some program or something, but the kid is short. And the kid
has a little Nate Robinson in him.
Exactly. You see here, won the tip, and then on the very same possession gets a little back
Go
screen.
get it, young fella.
Yes. And he did. And let's hang with him for a second, Ben, so Will can see this one. I don't think I've shown you this one yet.
No, I didn't see this.
Yeah, this is 2 years ago in the dunk contest. You see he's got 3 lined up there. And he's going to go off 2 feet with the left hand, the off hand. And here we go. So that's Chauncey Collins, and he'll be there, and he's a dynamite player.
And those were great crowds, man. As we watched the highlights, great crowds. The atmosphere looked very electric. So I know my kids are going to be excited once they get there.
No doubt. We'll wrap up this talent thing with Kadeem Lattin. We went against him last year, RCHA Pride out of Houston, Texas, and he's a top 100 guy. David Lattin from, what's that movie? Glory Road fame, Texas Western. That's his grandson, and he's a dynamite player. You see him climb the rim here, and he'll be playing basketball at Georgetown or Arizona or one of these schools who has offered him a scholarship by now. So you mentioned the great atmosphere. That was a great lead in. I think that is our next slide here, or our next visual. So you'll see at the Nationals, you start with 64 teams and you work your way down to 1, and you'll see some of the images that really made us find out that this is a real special place. You've got student sections. People come all the way from, in this case, Indiana, paint their faces, cheer their team on. And I think in a second here we'll see Memphis, the Memphis crowd, and it's just a wonderful atmosphere. You see they have the noisemakers and everything.
Oh, they're ready.
Yep. And so so we can't wait to give the new Eagles kind of a feel for this kind of atmosphere. And then we go to the passion. The third step in here is the passion, and this is there's a gentleman named Rob Flatt who in my mind is like the heart of all this stuff, and he, how it is, keeping up a website and keeping people informed. Every month he's doing rankings and seedings, and he knows so much about homeschool basketball teams all across the country. And go ahead and put one more time. And this kind of stuff, because of this kind of information, people on our team know who Justin Jackson is and who Chauncey Collins is. We run into teams and they're talking about Matt Miller and Austin Crown. There's a cohesiveness throughout the nation among homeschool basketball players. I think I saw Mariah Jefferson signing autographs a couple years ago, and there's just a real excitement. And I think so much of that has to do with Rob Flatt and HSLive365.com and the excitement that generates. Yep. So now let's move. What's next on our agenda? are we going to talk about the Eagles in Missouri next? Yes. Okay. So real quick, let's go through how we've done in Missouri. We've talked about the atmosphere, but in 2012, our first year there, that was 2 years ago, when guys like, go ahead and play it, guys like Matt Miller and Austin Crown and Dominique Brown, Paul Jones were juniors. We were the runner-up in the Southeast. We lost in a buzzer beater to the Nashville Warriors. They're over the past couple of years, at least, they've been our nemesis in the Southeast. Beat us at the buzzer here, and they've gone to the Elite Eight at Nationals 4 straight seasons, and so that was what happened in 2012. But then we moved on. If you can skip forward, Ben, maybe to about the 3/4 mark of this file, we will. Here's the buzzer beater. We'll go ahead and skip through that. We don't need to see that. But here's clips. Go ahead and just play it now. The clips from the Eastside Golden Eagles who beat us in the Sweet 16 round that season. And Eastside is one of those. They'll be at tip-off. They'll, a great thing I hope you get to see is whenever the Indiana teams play, the other Indiana teams and the other Michigan teams, the Midwest teams will come and they'll cheer them on. And the Indiana teams have this chant, Indiana, and it's just a great atmosphere, and that's why I want to go to Indiana for the Midwest regional later on this season, and so hopefully they'll all gang up on us and chant Indiana.
That's a big basketball state, the movie Hoosiers, that's real.
Yeah, there are 30 teams. Homeschool teams in the state of Indiana.
Wow,
it's crazy. So that was the Eastside Golden Eagles that put us out that year, and then we go to 2013, Ben, and we actually were able to beat the Nashville Warriors in the Southeast Regional in 2013, and we have some clips from that here, and then we went as the number 4 seed to Missouri, and ended up, as we said earlier, we got past the Sweet 16 this year. Go ahead and skip way ahead on this video, maybe to like the 70-80% mark. Yeah, there we go, right in there. So this is us advancing past the KC Lions in the Sweet 16, got to the Elite Eight, and couldn't get past Alonzo Trier. Go ahead and skip forward a little bit. We'll probably get some of those highlights. Couldn't get past Alonzo Trier and the Tulsa Noah in the Elite Eight game, which we have here. That's it right there, which we have here. So that kind of tells the story. There's Trier there. That kind of tells the story of what's happened to us in Missouri. Now we go forward. Go to that next video, Ben. What 2013 will look like. We'll show some images of our team playing a week or two ago at the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association Elite Camp. The team, you saw them play.
I did.
And definitely talented and everything, but do you think we'll be able to come together quick enough to show up well in Missouri?
I think so. They play with a lot of passion. One of the things they showed me during that weekend is they got down by a bunch of points and they fought back and made it a game and had a chance to actually win that game. So when you have guys like that root for each other and continue to fight, you always have a chance because, you have talent on your team. And even on that day, I thought Jalen Robinson was off a little bit, but he still did other things to keep the team in the game.
Yeah. And it's funny, we've played so many games in the spring and the summer and the fall, and not one of those games did anybody ever foul out, because we don't keep personal fouls in the off season, and so little things like that. I just really look forward to seeing how we will respond to only getting 5 fouls and shooting 1-on-1 after you reach in 6 times. All those things that a team that has not been through a season together. I just really look forward to see how we respond to those things. Okay, so now we go to the middle school. Here you mentioned your team earlier, Will, and these are all your teams, and obviously I think of most of these guys as my teams as well. But this is for sure your team. Let's talk a little bit about Eagles middle school hoops.
Okay, well, initially when we first got together, guys didn't really know each other. A few of them did from playing AAU ball together, but as a group, we really didn't have any chemistry and they're young, so, no, not one of them has more experience than the other. So it was a difficult task at first, but now we had a chance to get in the gym and work some things out and get to know one another a bit more, and know what each guy can do and what we need to do for the team to be successful. And it's really been a joy just being out there with those guys, teaching them and watching them soak up all the knowledge that I have to give them. And I'm anxious, they're anxious. We're excited about this Missouri trip, just to get out there and compete.
Yeah, and we mentioned 30 varsity teams being together from 11 different states. I believe the middle school group is at somewhere between 6 and 8 for that field, and I guarantee you 3 to 4 to 5 different states are represented. And you talk about unheard of. You're in late October and you have 4 or 5 different states represented in a middle school tournament. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool stuff, right?
It is. And like you said, we're going to be out there for a weekend, and we're going to get to play about 4 games, and that's half or at least a quarter of what the normal middle school around here plays.
Yes,
so these guys are going to get to play a whole lot of basketball and really grow up and become better players throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a great point. We've been told that one of the counties locally here, Richmond County, is playing 7 games during the regular season. And to your point, you'll play 4 before they even start practicing and tryouts. And Columbia County, we know, plays maybe 10 or 11, but they get it all done in about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Starting next week and ending by Christmas. And so let's go to that looking ahead section, because that'll be a good little segue. Looking ahead, Player 360 Invitational is 1 weekend after Missouri, and that's a middle school tournament or invitational that we did last year, and we're doing it again this year. And you'll be able to test yourselves. I can't remember exactly who you play, but I think
Langford and Riverside. Langford, it's really good last year. I think ended up making the Final Four.
And this is Langford we're showing here. Go ahead.
Yeah, making the Final Four, and they get a couple of their better players back. So. And, my guys have pride. A couple of them came from Langford, so I know they're going to be up for this game. I'm going to have to keep them calm, to make sure we go out there and control our emotions.
Yeah. And the other game on Saturday, is that Riverside or Greenbrier?
We play Riverside at Greenbrier High School.
Okay, so you will have something special for your daughter's school.
Definitely. And I've been joking with her, asking her, I know you played a game before, but, are you going to root for the school or dad?
What'd she say?
She was kind of in between. But I think I'm going to win that battle.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll make sure she cheers for the right team on that day, the blue team, the blue and white team. Okay, so, and then after that, a week after that, we'll be going to, let's hit that next video, Crusaders Classic. We'll be going to the Crusaders Classic, and this, I like this one. It's in the Savannah area because of all the great talent, a great prep school tournament. That's J.J. Frazier, who is now a point guard at University of Georgia. He participated in last year's session. This is oh man, I can't remember this guy's name, but he's at Kansas now, 7-footer, and he can obviously play. Joel Embiid is his name. And
let me say something really quick. I mean, that was TJ defending him.
Yeah. Go back. Ben, go back to Joel Embiid, the tall guy. In fact, we'll slow this down because this was right there. Now do that play again. This was TJ's welcome to prep school basketball at the young age of 14. You see him holding his mouth there. So come back a little bit and slow that down, and you'll see what happens when a young guy goes against a grown man.
And to tell you the caliber of this event, I was looking on the draft board, and I was going to ask you, was that the guy? Yeah. And they have him projected as a mid-first round pick next year as a freshman. So that tells you the type of talent that's playing in these events.
That's right. We walked in the gym to play that team, and he was shooting jump shots, top of the key, just draining them. And I said, if he didn't shoot those shots during the game, so that was good. But you see, he did get to the rim at will at times. So that's the kind of thing we'll be up against. And there's the most exciting guy in the South, Evan Payne. If you haven't seen this guy, Evan Payne with the big dunk. He's about 5'10", so that sucker can really play. And I think he is still at the Kingdom Prep out of Columbus, Georgia. So I hope to see him as well. And then we go to the ABR Live tip-off. If you're a fan of Augusta basketball and you're watching this, do know that Augusta basketball begins with the ABR Live tip-off. Let's go ahead and and put that on the screen. Go ahead and fast forward a bunch because the first part is like clips of an interview. But last year, this is, kind of a flavor of what we do covering the high school basketball scene here in Augusta, with the interviews and the clips and Will and I are going to do a top 10 and just really have a lot of fun with that. But basketball starts, I think that weekend we have Laney in action, we have Butler in action, we have Aquinas in action, we have the GAIS Eagles in action. Can you think of it? Josie's playing. Glen Hills. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It is going to be the tip off, the ABR Live tip off for high school basketball. And if you're wondering when we're coming with those shows and those highlights, it's right around the corner, right, Will?
That's right. And we're going to give you 2 days and 2 gyms right on one night. So it's going to be a lot of basketball going on that weekend.
Definitely. Ben, you ready for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ben said, oh, yeah. We don't have him mic'd up, so I don't know if that gets through the video. Okay, so we are in is that it for us? What do we have? What's that? I think we're done. Yeah, that's it for scheduled content. But before we go, let's show everybody the barn. This is where we are. This is the other part of the building or the room that we're sitting in. And you see the screen up there. We've got monitors and things like that. We've got a pool table, shuffleboard table. We would love for this place to be somewhere where people would come to watch the Eagles or the Laney Wildcats or the Augusta State Jaguars or the USC Aiken Pacers while they're out of town and we're beaming back coverage or doing our shows. Wouldn't it be cool, Will, to have this place full of the members of the Augusta basketball community?
It would be great. Watch basketball, to share knowledge with one another. Just pick each other's brains. I think it'd be just a great place to enjoy basketball from all levels, college, high school, even my middle school games. You want to check them out.
Exactly. No doubt about it. And then you mentioned college, and like one of the things on your radar I know is November 12th with Kansas and Duke playing, and all the ties you have with that. And so I'm ready for the season.
Me too, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we may even conjugate some verbs and do some prepositional phrases and some algebra and things like that, because
solve some expressions.
There you go. Because we do have our tutoring operation going on right across the way here, right outside of the barn. So we're doing a lot of fun stuff. Thank you for joining us this week in Eagles Hoops. Check back throughout next week. The first game is October 31st, Thursday, and we go all the way through November 2nd, Saturday. The USC Aiken versus South Carolina game is very soon after that. The Jags are in action the following weekend. Augusta basketball is here, and we will see you
in the gym.